Conor versus Logan Paul.
Is that supposed to happen?
Ariel Helwani says it's actually quite easy to make happen considering WWE and UFC are under the same banner.
I don't go with Logan. I'm going to go with Conor. I just realized he said Logan instead of Jake.
He ain't even fighting the real Paul.
But Logan's bigger.
Conor McGregor is due to fight Logan Paul, not to be confused with Jake Paul, in India for $250 million each. $250 million is more than Tyson and Usyk combined. Not even close.
The boxing world has reacted to the $250 million fight between Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor. Recently, McGregor dropped a hint regarding the imminent announcement of his boxing showdown with Paul. He also teased the hefty paydays both fighters could expect while sharing the potential location for the event in India. McGregor's last appearance in combat sports came at UFC 264, where he faced Dustin Poirier. A horrific shin injury in the opening round forced him out of the fight and led to an ended hiatus from competition. Since that fateful night, he has yet to make a return to the sport. McGregor's return to the octagon seemed imminent in June 2024, when UFC officials revealed he would headline UFC 303 against Michael Chandler. However, the comeback was short-lived as McGregor had to withdraw from the bout due to a toe injury. McGregor recently shared an update on X, revealing that the highly anticipated McGregor versus Paul fight will take place at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, India. The post also highlighted the potential for both fighters to earn $250 million each from the event. The 36-year-old fighter accompanied the repost with a caption expressing his deep appreciation for India. An ex-user tweeted, "Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor $250 million mega fight set for Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium in historic visit India." Campaign to this, Conor replied with emojis. Later, the news was shared by a number of media sites, including Happy Punch, along with another X update. The caption said, Conor McGregor seemingly confirmed reports that the Logan Paul fight is finalized for $250 million each at Wankhede Stadium in India, although Conor McGregor has hinted at the confirmation of his upcoming bout with Jake Paul. The combat sports world is still waiting for an official announcement. The reported $250 million fight purses for each fighter far exceed what most boxers typically earn from their matches.
So Logan Paul's fighting Conor McGregor, but we're getting scammed since originally the Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. I don't know who got more scammed, the people that bought CryptoZoo or Jake Paul. At least we know this fight will be a harder watch than Joe Biden going up the stairs. Regardless, I will still be watching this fight. Make sure to subscribe. This fight was supposed to be.
The reportedly outrageous fight purses of McGregor and Paul suggest the backing of a high-profile figure with deep pockets. That figure is none other than Mukesh Ambani, the Indian business mogul. The 67-year-old from Mumbai is currently ranked 9th among the world's wealthiest individuals, with an estimated net worth of approximately $120 billion, according to reports. Anant Ambani, his younger son, is the main driver behind the fight's potential occurrence. Ex-users have also reacted to this announcement from Conor. One user said, "Been following Conor since 2012 from India, and if you do this clown show, then I'll be retiring as your hardcore fan," another user said. "Embarrassing, honestly. Boxing Mayweather is one thing, a YouTuber from someone who's been a fan of yours. This is scraping the barrel," this fan said. "Couldn't imagine years ago that I would see a great like Conor stoop down to losing an exhibition against a YouTuber. But here we are," another added. "Hopefully you're not going to agree to fix the fight and lose like everyone else did just to make that dig seem relevant," and this fan said, "Bro still doesn't know if he's fighting Jake or Logan. All he knows is how much more cocaine he will be able to afford after this fight," this fan mentioned. "If those figures are even close to what he gets, he's never coming back to fight for the UFC. Why would you? He won't get seriously hurt in the exhibition," and this user said, "I'm having a very hard time seeing him come back to the UFC." Getting hard to take his words seriously, the 36-year-old Irishman was slated to return to the octagon in a highly anticipated UFC headliner against Michael Chandler this past June. However, he withdrew from the fight just weeks before the event, blaming a fractured pinky toe for his decision. The former featherweight and lightweight champion has not stepped into the cage since his devastating 2021 loss to Dustin Poirier, a bout in which he endured a catastrophic leg injury. Recently, McGregor disclosed his interest in a high-profile boxing match against Logan Paul, the WWE star, content creator, and entrepreneur. However, according to reports, the Ambani family, who are behind the potential event, had other plans, envisioning Logan's younger brother, Jake Paul, as the opponent for the notorious fighter instead. The Ambani family stands as India's wealthiest, with Mukesh Ambani, their patriarch, ranking as the world's 9th richest individual, according to Forbes, MMA. Journalist Ariel Helwani reports that Ambani's net worth is estimated to be approximately $120 billion. In 1999, the business mogul founded Reliance Infocom Limited, later assuming control of the Patalganga petrochemical plant. In addition, he became a member of the National Academy of Engineering in 2016, was named a director at Bank of America, owns the Mumbai Indians, and established the Indian Super League. Helwani further speculates that Mish's 29-year-old son, Anant Ambani, with a reported net worth of $40 billion, preferred to bring Jake Paul into the match rather than his older brother, offering the following explanation: Jake Paul, Mike Tyson happened around a month ago. The son of Ambani says, "I want something like this. I want to do something like this. I want something big," he added. They're doing it in Saudi Arabia. They're doing it all over the place. I want something in India. My understanding was the first choice is we want Jake Paul. We want to be in the Jake Paul business. We want a Jake Paul fight here in India. And so, the top choice was Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. And that's why Jake Paul tweeted once this all came out. Although Jake has challenged McGregor multiple times before, the content creator, who boasts an impressive 1-1-1 boxing record, now insists he will only consider facing the UFC icon if the promotion's president, Dana White, plays a role in making the fight happen. He took to X recently to claim, "Now it all makes sense why Conor McGregor and his management team have been desperately trying to get MVP to negotiate for a fight between us, as we told them privately. And I'm now saying it publicly. The only way we're willing to explore me versus Conor in a pro boxing MMA fight is if Dana White and UFC are at the table directly or make it clear they are okay with discussions. Conor is washed, needs the paycheck. Logan buys however he wants. Although McGregor hasn't competed in 3 years, his career in mixed martial arts boasts an impressive 2-2-6 record since his professional debut in 2008. The Irish fighter entered the UFC in April 2013 and quickly made his mark, capturing the featherweight title in 2015 with a stunning 13-second knockout of Jose Aldo.
Conor McGregor is due to fight Logan Paul, not to be confused with Jake Paul, in India for $250 million each. $250 million is more than Tyson and Usyk combined. Not even close.
November 2016, he solidified his dominance by securing the lightweight title with a win over Eddie Alvarez, but his reign was short-lived. His belts were stripped due to inactivity, as he chose to pursue a high-profile boxing showdown with Floyd Mayweather in 2017 rather than defend his UFC titles. He made his return to the octagon in October 2018, facing his fierce rival Khabib Nurmagomedov. After a brutal fourth-round neck crank submission, McGregor was defeated, but the chaos didn't end there. A wild riot broke out when Khabib vaulted over the cage to attack McGregor's teammate Dylan Danis, sparking a violent altercation. McGregor finds himself in the midst of a 2-fight losing streak at the hands of Poirier, with no action since his leg injury in July 2021. On the other hand, Jake Paul has been making waves in the boxing arena since his 2020 debut. He now insists he will only consider facing the UFC icon if the promotion's president, Dana White, plays a role in making the fight happen. He took to X recently to claim, "Now it all makes sense why Conor McGregor and his management team have been desperately trying to get MVP to negotiate for a fight between us, as we told them privately. And I'm now saying it publicly. The only way we're willing to explore me versus Conor in a pro boxing MMA fight is if Dana White and UFC are at the table directly or make it clear they are okay with discussions. Conor is washed, needs the paycheck. Logan buys however he wants. Although McGregor hasn't competed in 3 years, his career in mixed martial arts boasts an impressive 2-2-6 record since his professional debut in 2008. The Irish fighter entered the UFC in April 2013 and quickly made his mark, capturing the featherweight title in 2015 with a stunning 13-second knockout of Jose Aldo. In November 2016, he solidified his dominance by securing the lightweight title with a win over Eddie Alvarez, but his reign was short-lived. His belts were stripped due to inactivity, as he chose to pursue a high-profile boxing showdown with Floyd Mayweather in 2017 rather than defend his UFC titles. He made his return to the octagon in October 2018, facing his fierce rival Khabib Nurmagomedov. After a brutal fourth-round neck crank submission, McGregor was defeated, but the chaos didn't end there. A wild riot broke out when Khabib vaulted over the cage to attack McGregor's teammate Dylan Danis, sparking a violent altercation. McGregor finds himself in the midst of a 2-fight losing streak at the hands of Poirier, with no action since his leg injury in July 2021. McGregor's fierce determination and lightning-fast reflexes could prove to be formidable obstacles. If the match is confirmed, it will mark McGregor's first return to the boxing ring since his 2017 bout with Floyd Mayweather. He added, "Does he fight in the UFC? I think that's a clear no. Does he fight outside the UFC? I think it's always possible for him to fight outside the UFC if the UFC allows it. I don't know if the UFC is going to get behind it. I just don't know how those deals are going to play out. But does he fight in the UFC? No, and I'm going to leave it at that. He won't be in the UFC. I don't think he'll fight in the UFC ever again. There was a period when Brown stood nearly solitary in his belief about McGregor's future. But the repeated setbacks in his scheduled return to the octagon have sparked widespread uncertainty over whether the former two-division UFC champion will ever fight again. McGregor has also faced persistent challenges off the field, including the outcome of a civil lawsuit in Ireland, where a jury determined him responsible for sexual assault. It's unclear whether legal issues make McGregor's return to the ring more or less probable, but Brown's concerns focus on the possibility of him coming back to MMA rather than pursuing another boxing match like his 2017 bout with Floyd Mayweather. Brown said, "I'd like to see him fight again. I'd like to see him get his life together, get back in the gym, and do his thing. But how long ago did I originally say he's not fighting again? I think it was at least early 2024. I haven't. I had confidence he was going to fight in the UFC for a long time. But I think it's always possible for him to fight outside the UFC if he can work out whatever deal with the UFC. He's still under contract. I think that's always a possibility." He further added, "There's so much money to be made doing a Logan Paul fight. Of course he would do that. He doesn't have to come back and fight an Islam Makhachev or something, or Dustin Poirier or Nate Diaz or anything. He is just going and boxing a guy who is not a pro boxer." Brown is aware that facing one of the best fighters in the world in the UFC has far greater risks than boxing a social star like Paul. Furthermore, he understands that the promotion is more important to the McGregor versus Paul draw than the actual bout. Brown said, "The whole interest of him fighting Logan Paul, it has nothing to do with the fight. It's the build-up to the fight that's fun. The fight itself, we already know, is going to be stupid. But the build-up, that's the story. It's not the fight. If he comes back and fights in the UFC, it's not really about the build-up." He added, "There will be build-up and all that if he comes back and fights Michael Chandler or just somebody. Yeah, there will be build-up, but it's the fight we care about." Then, to be honest, at this point in Conor's career, I think I would be more interested in seeing a cool build-up to a Logan Paul thing. The situation Conor's in, the way he lives now, the life that he has, it's more interesting, I think. While it's unclear whether the UFC would support McGregor pursuing a boxing match instead of returning to the octagon, the financial gains from a showdown with Paul are undeniably substantial. This is another reason why Brown is more confident that McGregor will face Paul in a boxing bout in 2025 than that the Notorious will return to the UFC. Brown said, "Realistically, the UFC will get their cut out of it. They'll be happy. It kind of works for everyone as Conor." McGregor and Logan Paul are said to be in talks for a high-stakes fight in India. The world of combat sports is buzzing with speculation over who would come out on top in a potential boxing match. Additionally, since both of them have faced Floyd Mayweather, Shah Ali is utilizing their shared opponent to express his opinion on how he believes the bout will proceed. During an episode of The Sugar Show, he said, "Wasn't Logan and Floyd pretty close? Logan is a big expletive. Floyd is the best boxer in the world, and it was somewhat close. And Floyd pieced up Conor a little bit." Tim Welch, his co-host, observed that although many might perceive the content creator as the more imposing figure, the Notorious has noticeably bulked up since their last encounter in the ring. The MMA coach said, "We always remember the old Conor, but Conor is a solid 185 lbs, possibly 190 when we saw Logan at Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. He said he weighed 190 lbs. He wasn't nearly as stacked as you're used to seeing him in the WWE. He is tall. I think that's a competitive fight." Ali agreed, "I do too. I would love to see Conor come back and start someone in the UFC. If I could pick anything, I want Conor to come back, expletive walkout, hit someone with the left hand, and then jump on the cage. If the fight were to happen, it would unfold under the Queensberry rules. And with Logan Paul naturally having the size advantage over Mystic Mac, things could get chaotic for the former UFC champ. That said, we must remember that Conor McGregor has dedicated much of his life to training and competing at the highest level. If there's one thing he's known for, it's his ability to deliver a knockout with a single punch. As we await the official announcement from the promoters, let's take a moment to consider how this showdown might unfold. What catapulted Conor McGregor to fame? While his exceptional fighting skills certainly played a role, it was his mastery of trash talk that truly set him apart. His ability to get inside his opponent's heads through biting, often humorous jabs, became his trademark, and no fighter has yet managed to replicate it. Many have tried and failed, but McGregor's unique blend of confidence, wit, and psychological warfare creates an irresistible dynamic that captivates both fans and foes alike. Renowned for his sharp comebacks and razor-thin barbs, watching him hype up his fights is an experience in itself, turning each bout into a must-see spectacle. Once a promotion reveals the fight, it's inevitable that Conor McGregor will unleash a storm of verbal fury directed at Logan Paul. This will undoubtedly prompt a fiery retaliation from the Paul brothers, who are notorious for never shying away from online confrontations. A perfect illustration of this is Logan's showdown with McGregor's teammate Dylan Danis. Danis didn't just target Logan, he went after his wife, Nina Agdal, pushing Logan into a battle of mental tactics with Danis. Conor McGregor has mastered the art of hyping his bouts, as evidenced by the staggering 2.4 million pay-per-view buys from his 2019 showdown with Khabib Nurmagomedov. His 2017 mega fight with Floyd Mayweather shattered records, drawing an extraordinary 4.3 million PV buys. McGregor's ability to generate massive revenue is a proven asset for any promotion, whether as a fighter or promoter.
Conor McGregor came out and said that he had agreed to fight Logan Paul. What is the latest there? What is going on?
From what I understand, there was conversations about it a while ago. I don't know if Conor just woke up in like Ibiza or something like that and decided that he wanted to talk about it today. From the last thing I heard, there was no updates there, so I don't know if he's just out of his mind and just talking about it. But Logan just had a kid. He's locked in. He's a girl dad. And so, you know, unless there's something that I haven't heard, which is very possible, I don't know what the hell Conor's talking about. But I'll say this. No matter what, I think the boxing world would love to see it. I think we're talking about two very controversial personalities. One loved and hated, two countries, two different fighting disciplines. The world watches that fight. That's another Tyson, Jake Paul. I don't care what you say, people watch that fight. So I want to see it happen, for sure.
If a similar fight were to take place in India, his marketability could spark a similar financial frenzy. Beyond that, this matchup could serve as a powerful marketing vehicle for both Logan Paul and Conor McGregor, offering an invaluable opportunity to amplify their personal brands. Logan Paul and Conor McGregor are more than just exceptional fighters, they're masterful marketers and business moguls. No event is too small for them to make their brand shine. Whether it's Paul's Prime Drinks and Lunchables partnership or McGregor's ventures with Forged Irish Stout and Proper No. 12 Irish Whiskey, the former two-weight world champion may seize this fight as a chance to reignite his fading star power, which has suffered a setback amid his civil case. Mystic Mac has a golden opportunity to leverage this fight to boost the visibility of his Forged Irish Stout beer, linking it to his fearless image and deep Irish roots. He can also highlight his other ventures such as August McGregor and McGregor Fast through carefully curated branded events, press conferences, post-fight celebrations, and exclusive after-parties attended by Bollywood stars. Meanwhile, Logan Paul could have an edge in promoting his brand in India, as his Prime Energy drink has already made a significant splash in the South Asian market this year. The YouTuber-turned-boxer's hydration brand has already gained global recognition, and India could be the ideal market for him to expand his brand. Prime also has the opportunity to create exclusive gear and training content for Logan Paul, helping to capture a wider audience. Ultimately, this fight has the potential to be more than just a typical showdown. It could act as a springboard for significant growth in emerging ventures. But what will the outcome be if the fight actually takes place? Let's dive in and see. Conor McGregor has been sidelined for over 3 years, and his much-hyped return may not live up to the lofty expectations of his fans. The man known as Mystic Mac suffered a devastating tibia break during his last bout against Dustin Poirier at UFC 264, a setback that likely shook his confidence. Injuries of this magnitude have derailed the careers of other legends. Moreover, this comeback takes the form of an exhibition fight with no stakes or titles on the line. Both fighters, already affluent, have little to gain or prove and no real incentive to risk their well-being in this match. Even if McGregor and Paul face off in an exhibition bout, that won't prevent them from truly testing each other in the ring. This isn't a scenario where a rising star challenges a seasoned veteran on the decline. Logan Paul's significant size advantage over McGregor might tilt the odds in his favor, but underestimating the notorious would be a mistake. After all, McGregor went 10 rounds with one of the greatest boxers in history back in 2017. Known for his devastating knockout power, Mystic Mac could end the fight in an instant, leaving Paul staring at the lights. Exhibition matches are often intense slugfests, though there are occasional exceptions. The showdown between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. was a thrilling spectacle, expertly promoted and delivering on its promise, with both legends displaying remarkable grit, despite the fight ending in a draw. In contrast, Tyson's bout with Jake Paul didn't share the same energy. Despite the heavy promotion, Iron Mike appeared a shadow of his former self, while Jake seemed hesitant, holding back his punches. Unlike Jake Paul, Logan appears less driven to establish himself as a serious professional fighter. His most recent performance against Dylan Danis was quite frankly a disaster. Viewed through that lens, this fight could serve as a warm-up for both Conor McGregor and Logan Paul, offering each a lucrative opportunity to rake in significant earnings while boosting their personal brands.
I would love to do a UFC fight.
Hey, who the hell are you gonna fight, bro?
Who do you want me to fight, Mike?
Maybe Conor or something like that. But it would have to be like right now, like straight off a binge.
He's actually hungover when he shows up.
Yes. Roadhouse movie promoting Conor. With Jabberjaw.
Great, man. Jake Gyllenhaal.
That might work. I don't know what was going on there.
Oh, you know what was going on, brother. You know what was going on.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.